Okay, here we go. Baruch haba, welcome everyone. We're continuing in Mishnah Berurah Daf Hashem. We're learning Siman Samach Vav Sivav. Im Pasak Mibnei Hayira Ay HaKavod Achar Sha'amar MS. If you interrupted out of fear or out of respect after you said the word MS, Oy Shasiyem Kaidem HaChazan, or you finished before the Chazan, V'samach Hashem Lekechem Im MS, and you already said, and you juxtapose Hashem Lekechem with MS, Umamtin Sheyascha Chazan V'Sheyomer Imai, and you're waiting that the Chazan should begin and say it with him. Eino tzarich lachzav lemer pam acheres MS. You don't have to repeat and say again MS. So again, in this case, you interrupted Mibnei Hayira or Mibnei HaKavod after MS, or you finished before the Chazan and you said MS next to Hashem Lekechem, and you're waiting for the Chazan to start to say with him, you don't have to repeat again MS. What does this mean? It says in Mishnah Berurah Mamtin, Peirush, De'ilu im loisha mishat kinan lekeshachayzer va'omer MS. If there was no delay, we would silence you if you say again MS. Kamay b'shema shema u'moidim moidim. Alva b'shah, but if you delay, after loy mishat mashtikin, even though we don't silence you, so you don't have to go back and say it again. Why should you go back and say it a second time? Likewise, any time that you stop in any bracha of Kriya Shema, when you go back again, you don't have to go back. Only to the word that you stopped by. Uvetzfila ayin lekaman b'siman kov daled sif hey.
That's going to depend on how long the gap was, though.
Yeah, well, l'chayra. But what's the case? What does this guy do? The guy interrupted Mibnei Hayira or Mibnei HaKavod after he said MS. So he said, Ani Hashem Lekechem Asher Atzeisi Eschem Yazram Liyos Lachem Lehem Ani Hashem Lekechem MS, and then he interrupted. Okay, so then he doesn't have to say MS again. He doesn't have to say MS v'yatziv. But what's the second case? The second case is Oishasiyim Kaidem HaChazan. He concluded before the Chazan V'samach Hashem Lekechem Im MS, and he's waiting for the Chazan to say Hashem Lekechem MS. He doesn't have to say MS again. What does that mean he doesn't have to say MS again? You never have to say MS again.
No, because it's the first word of the bracha. And what you would have assumed that the word of the bracha starts MS v'yatziv. So say the word MS, say the MS v'yatziv. I understand if you're saying the whole thing by itself, break through.
Stamazoi, is that what you do?
Stamazoi?
In other words, how is a person supposed to daven regularly? You say Ani Hashem Lekechem, Hashem Lekechem MS, and then you say again MS v'yatziv?
No, that's what I said. You don't. That's the halacha. You don't say it again.
So what are the two cases? Case number one is he was Pasak Mibnei Hayira after he said MS, or he finished before the Chazan. Oh, and he delayed.
As a hefsek b'dibur, and as a shehiyah. Beginning of the Siman.
Saying you don't have to say MS twice, but if there is not a hefsek, then you're not allowed to say MS twice. Okay. Siv Zayin. Eino yomer amen acher gal Yisroel. You did not say amen after gal Yisroel, mishum to have a hefsek. It's a hefsek. Haga, v'yesh oimrim da'oinin amen. Some say you do say amen. V'chein noyagim. That's the minhag lanos achar shel tzibur. Aval im hispala levad. But if you're davening on your own, ein oinin amen, you don't answer amen. Kila kaman siman reish tesvav. So if you just read the Shulchan Aruch with the Ramah, the conclusion is that when you're davening Shachris and you hear the Chazan say Goal Yisroel, you're supposed to answer amen. That's the conclusion of the Ramah. Let's see the Mishnah Berurah. Whether after yourself, or after the Shliach Tzibor. Achar Gal Yisroel. Gal Yisroel is Lashon Avar. Why? Mishum dehu kaya al gulas Mitzrayim. Aval b'tfilah Shemona Esrei Omer Goyal Yisrael present Mishum derachameininu. It is a request for mercy, Mispal al ala asid, and you're praying for the future. What if you make a mistake and you say Baruch Atah Hashem Goyal Yisrael? The Taz says you're Yotzei. What if in Shemona Esrei you say Goyal Yisrael? Reb Chaim Kanievsky says possibly Lo Yatza. Uve Ma'aravis in Ma'arav Shenogin Lomer Brachat Hashem Melech Tzur Yisrael V'Goyalai. No, excuse me. Ma'aravis is not Ma'arav. Ma'aravis was a type of piyut, where the custom was to say Baruch Atah Hashem Melech Tzur Yisrael V'Goyalai Nidcha Kataz Ma'oid Letartzai. The Taz presses very much. He tries to wiggle out how to answer. This is V'Dagim Ravava Yishev Kushasa, the Nadahuda answers. Kushazu Nago Anshi Maisa Lomer Gam B'Ma'aravis Goal Yisrael. Now, Yesh Oimrim that you do answer Amen. Now, this Yesh Oimrim does not hold you answer Amen after the Chazan. This Yesh Oimrim holds you answer Amen after your own bracha. Says the Mishnah Berurah, you even answer Amen after your own bracha. Kivin shu siyum shall say their bracha shall kriyashma. Since it's the conclusion of the order of brachas of kriyashma, v'loy chashvi lehefsek ben gula tefillah. It's not considered a hefsek between gula and tefillah. V'alkein kamar Ramah demitzad echad min hagenu gamkein ka yesh oimrim. In a certain sense, our minhag is like the yesh oimrim. Hazeh deloy chashvinon lehefsek bein gula l'tfila, that it's not considered a hefsek between gula l'tfila. So we go like this Yesh Oimrim. The Yesh Oimrim holds you say Amen after your own bracha. So we in a sense follow this Yesh Oimrim in that we don't consider it a hefsek to answer Amen after the Chazan. But if we answer, if we're davening by ourselves, it's not our custom to answer Amen. Now, let us see the next Mishnah Berurah. Okay, this is the whopper. The conclusion of the Ramah is you answer Amen to Goal Yisrael. Let's see what the Mishnah Berurah says. Says Mishnah Berurah, "V'dafka im lo hischal dayin Hashem svasei tiftach." That's only if you haven't begun Hashem Svasai Tiftach. The Mishama Elachava Ketfila. Once you say Hashem Svasai Tiftach, it's like Shemona Esrei. Yesh medaktikim sharoitzim latzes l'kulayama. Some are medaktik, some medaktikim. They want to fulfill all shitos. Umamtinan b'tzor Yisrael. They wait at Tzor Yisrael. Oy b'shir chadasha kedei lanois amen achar shel tzibor. Some, they say, you know what, I have a great idea. I'll wait at Tzor Yisrael, I'll wait at Shir Chadash, and then I'll answer Amen. So this way it's not a hefsek between Gula and Tefillah because I'm answering Amen before the end of the bracha. By the way, this is Mamish and Yana Diyayma because we know the bracha of Goal Yisrael corresponds to the Parayches in between the Heichal, the Kodesh, and the Kodesh HaKadoshim. It's this week's parasha. The Kasu Kol Achroinim Shal Yafei Noisim. All the Achroinim write that they're not doing correctly. They're in Emsa Perak. Vein Lamos Shum Amen. You're not to answer any Amen. Bein Aprakim. Levad Mishnei Amen Manal B'Sif Gimel B'Haga. Except for the two above mentioned Amenim, namely Hakel HaKadosh and Shemei HaTfilah. But you can't answer Amen to Goal Yisrael Bein Aprakim. Also, you're not to start Shemona Esrei 3 seconds before the tzibor. You have to start exactly at the same time as the tzibor. So if you're going to wait at Shir Chadasha or at Tzor Yisrael, you're not starting with the tzibor. It's only a millisecond difference. Not good enough. So what should you do? And by the way, the Bir Halacha says if you don't start with them, Ein Zeh Tefillah B'Tzibur Gemura. So don't say, I'll just say Yigdal, like we said yesterday. if you say Yigdal, and because of Yigdal, you miss a split second of starting with the Tzibur, Lo Yafa Asa. You didn't do right. Ella Eitza Cheres Yesh. There's another Eitza. V'nachoin la'asoisa, which is correct to do. Kedei latzis l'kuli alma sheyechavein l'sayim im hashliach tzibur b'shaveh. Try to finish with the shliach tzibur equally. V'az einoi mechuyav lanois amen. And then you don't have to answer amen. Now, the Chazan Seif brings a custom to say Goal Yisroel quietly, not to answer amen. Reb Chaim Kanievsky says it's a good minhag. He adds in the Das Noite, that's what they did by the Chazon Ish. Rav Henkin said it's usur to do that. Rav Henkin says it's an isur to do that. If you do that, it's not considered like you daven with a minyan. Don't daven in a shul where they do that. Why? Because the job of the shliach tzibur is to start and finish each bracha. If he is not doing that, you're not davening b'tzibur. So I davened in a shul where the guy did that. I told him he's not allowed to do that. So he said he thinks that's what the rabbi wants. I said, don't ask him. I showed him Rav Henkin's tshuva, and he started saying it loud. He did it a little quieter so that it shouldn't be that noticeable, but he says it loud enough that people should hear. That I will say that the Mishnah Berurah clearly holds that you're not allowed to say it quietly because he does not bring this custom. So this is not a good eitzah of, if you want to follow the Mishnah Berurah, this is not an eitzah to say it quietly. By the way, Rav Henkin left in his tzava that at his levaya they should announce it is usur to say Goal Yisroel quietly, which they did at his levaya. Okay, so according to the Mishnah Berurah, this is not a good eitzah. Eitzah Acheres is to finish together with Shliach Tzibur, v'azeinu mechuyev lanos amen, oy sheyaschel shmona esrei me'at koidem hashliach tzibur, dahainu ha'pasuk Hashem svasai. You start a little bit before. But the Mishnah Berurah said that a millisecond is an issue. The bezeh hama'at vaday leka kpeda. This little bit is not a hakpada. The ein nikar klal hakdamasai. His hakdama is not noticeable. So I don't understand. So why can't he wait then by Tzur Yisrael? Why is Tzur Yisrael noticeable and Hashem Sefasai not noticeable? So Hashem Sefasai Tiftachu Fi Yaget Tihilasach has 6 words. Tzur Yisrael Kuma Be'ezras Yisrael Uftech Nemecha Yudav Yisrael. You know, Hashem Sefasai Kadosh Shema Kadosh Yisrael Baruch Atah Hashem Goal Yisrael. 15 words. There's a difference between 6 words and 15 words. 6 words is not noticeable. 15 words is noticeable. By the way, why are there 15 words in Tzur Yisrael? The Roikeach says, because Mashiach is going to come on Tesvav Nisan. And that's the remes. Tzur Yisrael, Kuma Be'ezras Yisrael, Uftech Nomecha Yudav Yisrael, Galeinu Hashem Tzvakais, Shemai Kadosh Yisrael, Baruch Atah Hashem Goal Yisrael. 15 words. By the way, how many times do we say Yisrael in Tzur Yisrael? Tzur Yisrael 5 times. Just like in the Sefer HaManhig says, a Rishon, just like we say Yisrael 5 times in the Pasuk of the Levium, to show that Hashem loves Klal Yisrael like Chamisha Chumshei Torah, we also likewise do so before Shemona Esrei. Achar Shliach Tzibur, Roit Salamrim Erashu Gamar Koydem HaShliach Tzibur. If it happened that you finished before the Shliach Tzibur, V'lo Hischal Adayin HaShemona Esrei, and you didn't yet start the Shemona Esrei, Uvein Tayim Gamar Shliach Tzibur, and in the meantime the Shliach Tzibur finished. Aval Ein Sarch Lahamtin Al Zel L'Kol Yama. You don't have to wait for that. Friends, halacha l'maisa, you did not finish before the Shliach Tzibur, and you did not start Shemona Esrei, and you hear the Chazan say, Go al Yisroel, what do? You're required to answer Amen. That's halacha. Yeah, but I'm going to have, I'm not going to be able to get over it. Pal, you could actually get over following the halacha. You'll be able to get over it. You are mechuyav to answer Amen. Who says it? The Shulchan Aruch. The Ramah paskins, oinin Amen, v'chein noagim la'anois. That's the minhag. Elamai, to be yoytze l'kulei alma, you could either finish together with the shots, and then the Mishnah Berurah says you're not mechuyev to answer Amen, or you could start a second earlier. But if you didn't do that, you're a little hazy, you're a little slow on the uptake, and you hear the shots say, Go al Yisroel, you are obligated to answer Amen. It's not good to be in a situation where you hear a bracha and you don't answer Amen. Okay? Hatzlacha. Have a great day, everyone.